Dus goedenavond iedereen. Welkom op deze publieke ontmoeting met Isaac EZBAN, regisseur van The Parallel. U zal de mogelijkheid om uw vragen te stellen. De ontmoeting zal in het Nederlands in het Engels plaatsvinden. Voilà.
Bonsoir à tous, on va débuter le Q&A du film Parallèle d'Isaac EZBAN. Comme Samir vient de le dire, on va faire le Q&A en anglais. Mais n'hésitez pas à poser vos questions par la suite en néerlandais ou en français, on traduira bien évidemment. First, in English, ¿está bien para ti? Dale.
English, French, whatever you want, man, I'm fine.
Perfecto.
No, English, please.
First, congratulations, Isaac. We're just seeing the movie right now. I think we both liked it very much. This is your first feature film in English outside Mexico with more of an international crew. How this kind of project came to you?
Well, yeah, it's my first time doing many things. My first movie outside of Mexico, my first film in English, my first film, a screenplay I didn't write myself. But it was still a project that very much I made it personal, and although the screenplay wasn't mine at first, I changed many things, changed the ending, changed many things of the characters to make it more my own. And the reason how this project came together was after I made the incident and went to festivals, I got an international representation with an agent and a manager in LA. And they started sending me scripts to read, to consider for my next project. And I was very excited about doing a movie that I didn't write. After making two movies that I wrote myself and they were all my scripts, I was excited for my third movie to just do a movie by someone else's script but put my vision and my style into it. So I was reading many scripts. A lot of the scripts I didn't like. I found them like too generic, but then suddenly Parallel came to me, and when I read that script, I was like, whoa, I need to make this movie. Because I loved how I always saw it more like a character drama with hints of sci-fi, and how this concept of the ambition ends up destroying these four friends. So I saw it like movies like Shallow Grave, like by Danny Boyle, like Chronicle, like Flatliners, like The Social Network, but with parallel universes. So I said, this movie is amazing, and I got in a meeting with the producers at the Bronx Studios. I pitched them my vision, what I wanted to make with the movie, and then the rest is history. No? Then we made the movie. I got hired to direct the movie on December 2015, and the movie was shot on November 2016. So it was a full year of working in the script, making changes. Like I said, I changed the ending, I changed many things of the characters, I added more depth in the characters, and I just made things that would make the movie more personal to me. And then we went and shot it.
How free were you to make changes on the screenplay? Because it's not yours, so it's not this kind of project that you're totally free, I guess. You have to respect some things, but how free were you?
It was a very interesting learning experience for me, because it was, yes, like you said, on my other movies, I had full freedom of everything. Here I had to learn to collaborate with a team, which making a movie is a great teamwork, and but I still had a lot of freedom. In the screenplay, they pretty much gave me all freedom of whatever I wanted to change, and some of the producers also gave some notes, some very good notes, and we all changed it together. And then in the filming, in the shooting, I had all the freedom. The only thing they were on to me was time. Like, we didn't go over 12 hours every day shooting. But in terms of how to direct an actor or where to put the camera, I had full freedom. And then in terms of the editing as well, it was a collaboration. I had a version that was longer, and then together we cut it together. We made test screenings, focus groups, all that. Very interesting experience. So it's been a collaboration across all the way.
So for the first time you worked on the screenplay that wasn't yours at first, but how did this impact your ways of making a movie? The fact that it wasn't written by you at first. Of course you put the Isaac EZBAN touch to it. But how did this impact? Did this have an impact actually on the shoot, on the way of managing on the whole filmmaking process?
Well, like I said, when we got to the shooting part, I had already been working on the script for a full year. Okay. So I already felt it was my own, although someone else wrote it. Also, if you see my two first movies, The Incident and The Similars, they deal with similar subjects on science fiction, parallel universes, doppelgangers, similars. So it almost seemed like something that I could write too.
It was Isaac EZBAN material.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't direct any movie that they give me. I only direct something that I would feel personal. And then when we were shooting, I felt so much like it was mine that when the actor would say his line, I was like, yes, he said it right or not. Like I felt like I wrote it. So I really made it my own. So I don't feel the fact that I didn't write the script affected in the process of shooting the movie. I just felt the same way as I felt in my other two movies.
In The Incident, it was a time loop. In The Similars, all the people got the same face. And here, it's kind of same universe, but different. But so what is it? What is this thing you have with patterns?
Patterns?
Yeah.
Like what? Oh, like what do you mean?
Well, the things that is going a bit repetitive.
Oh, repetitions, like cycles, loops. Yeah, I like it because I really like the concept in science fiction. I really like the concept of the idea of a cycle, a loop, don't knowing where something ends or where something begins. You know, like the Escher drawing the hand. And I feel that the theme of parallel universes, it's so broad that you can make, like, this film is just the tip of the iceberg of what you can talk regarding parallel universes. And I like, that's why I like the ending, to leave a little open of, wait, what's happening? So are there more and more people now coming to this universe to switch with these characters? Or maybe now they have developed this power that they can do it without this unique mirror. Now they can bring their doubles out of every mirror. So it's what I'm saying is this movie is just the tip of the iceberg of what can happen with parallel universes, and I just wanted to give a candy to the audience and leave them thinking more when they get home and tomorrow when they wash their teeth in the mirror, think, holy shit, what if somebody comes outside, you know?
Can you tell us a few words about the cast?
Yeah, the actors. Actually, from the 3 movies I made, this is the one where I stayed closer to the actors. I still speak to them almost every day. We became really, really good friends. The producers had this really great vision of, let's bring an actor from Sweden, an actor from the UK, an actress from Scotland, an actor from Canada, a DP from Toronto, and a director from Mexico, and let's put them all in Vancouver to make a movie. And we were all together all the time, and on weekends we would hang out together. I almost felt like it was like a summer camp where you go together and meet friends for 3 months. When we said goodbye, it was really, really sad. And, you know, it was always very important for me that the film would have the human touch of like a Shallow Grave. You know, when you see Shallow Grave, you see how the cast really connected well and how they hug each other and all that. And I really feel these guys did that. These guys are really, all the 4 of them, amazing actors. They really connected well. They became friends. They are still friends now. So I wanted to make that human touch on the movie, and for that the casting was super important. And then I also had a chance to work with Kathleen Quinlan, who is in the opening as Marisa, and she told me great stories about Event Horizon, which is a movie I love, and it was really cool to work with her. Okay. Yeah.
Je vais demander au public si quelqu'un a une question. Heeft iemand een vraag? Ja.
Hi, thank you for this film. It was a great sci-fi film. I have a question. I read recently in an article, an interview from a Mexican director, that with the poverty and the violence that you can have in Mexico, people are not really attracted to genre film. They go see comedies. Here is the world premiere. How do you think your film will be accepted in Mexico?
Well, that's a good question. You are right that mostly Mexican cinema is sometimes more focused on social subjects and talk about violence and drug and stuff like that. But there are filmmakers doing genre. There's 2 great filmmakers doing genre here that you can see their films. Isa Lopez, her film's playing on Thursday, and it's also a genre movie that also deals with the subject of violence, but through the scope of genre movie and Belzebut, Emilio Portes movie. So there are some people in Mexico still doing genre, and I think every time more and more and more. I think it's opening little by little. So not all the films are like that. Maybe it's more like the films we hear about in international festivals and stuff. But I would also say that Mexicans really like horror and really like genre, and horror has good numbers in the box office in Mexico. So and in terms of sci-fi. Of how this film will be received. Well, this won't be received as a Mexican movie because it's not a Mexican movie. The filmmaker is Mexican, so I guess when the release comes in Mexico, it will just be like an American movie gets released and it's sci-fi, and hopefully I'll be able to make more noise of it because I'm Mexican and some people in Mexico know my work. But I would just think it would be received as an American movie, not as a Mexican movie. Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about the way you build up the universes, like the photography that is different in the main universe and the parallel universe, but also the color scheme you use with the characters? They wear different colors depending the universe they are. How did you build that up?
Well, I was very lucky enough to be working with a great DP, Karim Hussein, who I'm sure has shown movies here because he shot a lot of genre. He shot Brandon Cronenberg's movie Antiviral, and he shot Ted Geoghegan, We Are Still Here, and Mohawk, and he knows a lot about genre, and he also knows a lot about just cinema and film language, and I learned a lot from him. I have to say, your DP is one of the most important tools in your crew. And a lot of the times when people say, oh, this movie is very well directed, it will be because of the director, but it will also be because of the DP. And I think Karim did a great job, and together we planned that we wanted to really differentiate the universes, the normal universe and the parallel universe. So every time, all the scenes that are in a parallel universe, we shot with anamorphic lens. Really old anamorphic lens, and every scene that is in a normal universe we shot spherical lens. And then also we did the camera movements different, like we had Steadicam every day with a great Steadicam operator who worked on Mother, and that operator we created the idea of when we are in a parallel universe, the camera is going to be like this, always twitching, and when it's the normal universe, it will be a little more standard. And then on top of all that, well, also the lens gives a feeling to the light that you see the light a little more blurred and more blown. But also in post-production, we did some test screenings, market screenings during the editing, and we saw some people were still confused about when are you and when you're. So I was like, what? Why are people confused? Is the screenplay is telling you, the dialogue is telling you, visually it's telling you. People were still confused, so we decided to add something more in post-production, and that's why we made a color grading with the normal universe a little more amber and the parallel universe all a little more blue, kind of like Dean Conde, the DP of Halloween and stuff like that. Yeah.
So the movie, as we said, is the premiere here at BIF. You said a few words before the screening. Maybe you care to comment about that once more for us?
Yes. Well, this is the first time the movie gets screened with an audience. I was very happy that this was the audience, although in the beginning, the first 20 minutes, I was like, guys, can you please take one movie seriously? Just one movie, please. Because people were like, every time that something would happen, they would talk, clap, kiss, whatever. And then I was afraid people won't understand the dialogue. Yeah. And then I said, well, there's subtitles. But I was afraid that my Mexican friends that don't understand French, they won't understand the dialogue because people were talking over the movie. After that, I saw how the people kind of got into the movie. Yeah. And they stopped. But then in the end, the one scene I was really excited to see in this theater was when Noel dies, when we cut it in half. Yeah. And that scene, I was like, I came to BIF for that, to see people in that scene. And I took a video of that. That was great. And I'm going to send that to the producers. And yes, it's the world premiere. Actually, BIF now is the only festival in the world that has screened my 3 movies, because it's the world premiere. Yeah, and I'm excited that here was the world premiere. After this, we have more festivals to come. I would encourage you, if you like the movie, to tweet about it, Facebook about it, hashtag parallel, comment to people, because the important thing is that we make noise out of the movie so we can get distribution. The film was produced by Bronze Studios, but we still don't have distribution yet, and hopefully festivals will help us with that, and hopefully we'll go to many more festivals, and I love coming here to Beef, so hopefully I'll be back with another movie.
Thanks. Well, everybody loves your movies here. So, questions? Question? Oui, madame, mademoiselle, pardon.
I have two questions. The first one, what was the original ending like?
Oh, the original ending. So the original ending was, you know how they get on the car and they turn on the radio, and you start hearing on the radio how they gave all the technology, they almost gave it for charity to help the world, and that's it. The car moved in the road and we cut to black. And I was like, no, that's a Hollywood ending. Horror movies don't deserve happy endings. And sci-fi, a good friend told me every good sci-fi movie needs to become a horror movie in the last 10 minutes. So also sci-fi movies, mind-blowing movies, don't deserve to have happy endings. I wanted to leave more open. So I came up with the idea of what if all the other characters have been switched by their alt. Like Noel, we saw Noel switch. We saw Josh, obviously he died, they swapped him. And then we saw Devin, how they swapped him in the cabin. But not her. We haven't seen her being swapped by her double. So I came up with an idea of what if we come up with an ending where she gets also switched with her double. And then I talked to the screenwriter, and then the screenwriter wrote an ending that was really long and really complex, where she would stop in a convenience store, and the clerk, the guy for the convenience store, would give her a letter, kind of like the ending of Back to the Future 2, where in that letter she would say, "This is me, Lena B. I'm in this world. I'm stalking you. Be careful what you do, whatever." And then I didn't like that. I said that's too overcomplicated. What if we just do something very simple, like a coda ending, just 1 minute, where we suddenly feel that she came back to this world, and with this one cue that she says, "Oh, I want to listen to this song. I haven't heard this in ages." And we leave it open for the audience. But then in the test screenings, people were confused again about, wait, so they were supposed to use this mirror, and now she's coming through this other mirror. So that's why we added the sound on that mirror. So then we're telling people, okay, now maybe these guys have developed some kind of property in their bodies that now any mirror can bring some alts to them. And all the movie, we thought this was the main universe, and they were just using other universe to fuck around. Then we discovered not. That there's maybe other universes using this universe to fuck with them, no? So it's that was kind of like what I added to the ending.
And I heard a rumor in the audience that your next project may be an adaptation of a Dan Simmons novel. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm working in the adaptation of Summer of Night, the Dan Simmons novel, which is one of my favorite novels I read when I was 14 years old, and since then I dreamt of doing the movie adaptation. It's with Sony Pictures, and we are now writing the screenplay. It's being a little complex because it's an adaptation of a huge novel, 900 pages, and it has a very, very vast mythology. So as in any adaptation, we're having to create new mythologies and put some elements together and make it work more for a film adaptation. But yeah, that's one of the projects I'm working on now on the screenplay. Very excited about that. And I also have some other projects in development, also in Mexico, a horror movie I'm trying to do in Mexico. So whatever happens first, I want to keep telling my stories in Mexico, in the United States, in Canada, Europe, whatever I can have a chance to make a movie that is something I want to make, I will go. So I'm not close to any country or anything.
Some of the actors in this movie are famous for their appearance in TV shows, in TV series. Is this something you would be interested in, the directing TV series?
Yes, definitely. Actually, I watch a lot of TV series. Every week I'm watching 3 TV series at the same time. My series for when I go to the gym, my series for me and my wife, and my series for me together at night. So I'm always, so I said, like, if I watch so many series, I'd love to make a series. And yes, the actors, the aim with the casting was kind of like what they did in The Social Network, where they got these actors that had already done something, but they weren't huge stars. Nobody, J.C. Eisenberg hadn't been Lex Luthor yet, or all the other this guy, Spider-Man,
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, yeah. So all these actors, they were kind of known, but they hadn't done like something huge. And now you look at the Social Network, and you're like, whoa, how they got that cast together? How they got Jesse Eisenberg and Andrew Garfield? That's kind of like what we wanted with Parallel. These four guys are going really, really high. The four of them are really doing big things now. Martin from Mr. Robot is doing other series. Amel just did Idris Elba's new movie, Yardi, his new movie as a director. Mark O'Brien is doing a big biopic of a hockey player in Canada, and Georgia is very known for vice principals. And I'm sure all of them, hopefully in 5 or 10 years, they'll be like huge stars, and people will say like, "Whoa, I don't know how they got that cast in parallel," you know. And I was super happy to working with them. They were amazing guys. And yes, about directing a TV series, I'd be very interested as well. I have some rough ideas, but I have to tie it a little more. But I'm fan of the format. I think we're living in the golden age of television as well, and there's a lot of cool stuff in TV where you can develop characters more, and I like it. Hopefully one day I'll get to do it. Yeah.
Est-ce qu'il y a encore des questions dans le public? Is there any other questions in the audience?
Hi. I just want to say that I noticed an Easter egg from your previous movie, the similars in the library scene. So I kind of sense here a pattern of you interlink your movies with each other, which I find fascinating. But at the same time, this last movie, only one of the universes was linked to your previous movies. So where does that exist?
I think sorry, I didn't hear the question very well, but did you say if I like to link all my movies together in a same universe?
Yeah.
Yes. You know, there are a few things in your life you cannot do anymore when you are at this age. For example, I don't know, taking a picture every morning. You can't do it because you already, how many years old, you didn't do it. But making a reference to your previous movie, in every movie you can still do it. So I discovered that with the similars. I really liked how in the incident we never really got to see who's behind the incident. You know what I mean? Like you have these rules of 35 years in the highway, 35 years in the staircase, but you don't really get to know who is planning this master plan. Is it aliens? Is it God? Is it machines? So then in the similars, I explained who is Ignacio is behind the incident. And then, sorry, that's a spoiler for somebody who hasn't seen my movies. Hopefully you have. And then now in parallel, we get to understand that actually the whole movie of the similars took place on a parallel universe. And maybe in my next movie, we'll get to find out where this mirror comes from. Maybe we'll get to see the sketches of who built the mirror. And I really like that they are stories from completely different universes, different characters, different genres even, but they are somehow connected. And I admire filmmakers that do that, like J.J. Abrams, like Stephen King, that you can be reading It and suddenly he mentions Castle Rock, Shawshank Prison, and it's something that I like and I want to keep doing it. To have people kind of like linking all the movies together in a universe where they all belong. So hopefully one day we'll get to know where the mirror comes from.
It's not the first time we saw the poster of the similars in a movie today, because we saw it in Belzebub too.
You guys have good eye.
You're not the only one using your own posters in movies.
You know, Emilio's producer reached out to me. He said, we have a scene where a film theater is blowing up. Can we use the poster for the similars? And I was like, yes, of course, because I'm sure that movie is going to be amazing. And also, in Mexico, the green poster wasn't used for the release. They used a new poster. So I was like, at least that green poster for the similars is going to be seen a little more. And today I saw the movie, and it was great. And I'm happy that we have this kind of community, this kind of family as filmmakers in Mexico, that we all, support each other and do stuff. Yeah, it's cool.
You'll have to put Belzebub poster in your next picture.
Have to what?
To put the Belzebub picture poster.
Oh yes, but of Parallel, you mean?
In your next movie.
Yeah, but first we need to have a poster. But yes. Yeah.
So about the posters, actually the film is so new that is this the official artwork that we saw? The poster that we know.
That's just one still of the movie.
Yeah.
It's not even a frame of the movie with a proper color grading. It's actually a still taken by a stills photographer on the set, and actually it's for the last minute of the movie.
Yeah.
So I wish we could release more stills. Like there's some really cool stills of the 4 guys in front of the mirror. Like, but you know that's something I haven't had. That's the only thing I would say that I haven't been able to have full control. Okay. Meaning the materials that get used, the marketing, all that, the strategy. I'm aware of it. They keep me posted on it, but it's not like I can release 10 stills tomorrow as it was in my. So hopefully rather sooner than later, Bron will release more stills and then a poster and a trailer. Yeah.
Ok, peut-être une dernière possibilité de poser des questions. Laatste kans om uw vragen te stellen.
Okay, do you use the same people to make your movies? So the technical people, I think.
Sorry, what was the question?
Do you use the same crew of
The same
technicians
crew,
for
yeah.
the?
Oh, the same crew. Actually, in my first 2 movies, the crew changed a lot because my first movie was done very independently with no money from the government funds. It was all independent funding. And then my second movie, we got the government funds. And in order to apply for the government funds, you have to have a certain crew in your application you submit, like ADP that has done a certain amount of movies, a producer. But it was great because I got a chance to work with other people. And then now on Parallel, I do it in Vancouver. So obviously it was a different crew because it needs to be local people because they know the area, they know the places, the sets, but also because of the tax credit and everything. There's only one person that has been in my 3 movies. Just like Beef is the only festival in the world that has screened my 3 movies, there's only one person that has been in my 3 movies,
Besides
and that's
you.
my composer, Eddie Lan, who's a great, great composer. I'm really happy working with him. And you know, when my producers on Parallel told me, if you can bring one guy from Mexico to your movie in Canada, who will be? I said, this guy. And then they spoke with him and they loved his music. And it was kind of challenging because on the incident, we knew the music was Michael Giacchino, Lost, very clear reference. Then in the similars, we knew it was Bernard Herrmann, 60s kind of. But then now for Parallel, it took Eddie and I months to discover what the movie needed because it's contemporary, but at the same time it has electronic music. And I want to make these really cool montages, editing, like Darren Aronofsky, Danny Boyle style. And at the same time, it has some classic moments, more Hitchcockian. So the music was a bit of a more difficult to discover what was the right path. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the score that Eddie did, and so are the producers. Yeah.
About the music, actually, it's also a bit repetitive. And there are also some patterns in the music. What kind of instructions did you give to the composer? Or did you
I told the composer, the movie for me is Flatliners meets The Social Network. So what does that mean? That means it's the classic meets the modern, right? It means that, you know, Flatliners, a movie from the 90s about characters, all of them discovering something, and then The Social Network is a movie about technology, and I wanted that combination. So I told that to all the collaborators, the DP and the production designer. This movie is the classic meets the modern. So I wanted to have some scenes that would even look like a Carpenter, De Palma, Hitchcockian elements, and at the same time I wanted to have some scenes that look more like a really contemporary movie about technology. So with the music, Eddie had to keep that in mind and make a music that would be classic and modern at the same time. So that's why we have some moments in the score, like when Lina is driving in a highway, that sound like a really classic orchestral score. And then we have some moments like when they're building the app, that sounds more electronic, more modern. But at the end of the day, it was all about keeping consistency, so it wouldn't look like 2 separate movies, right? So it would look like something that belongs to the movie. And I think Eddie got that idea well. And also, it was about keeping a motif. For example, there's a motif that is every time we see a big guy, an alternate guy in this universe, we hear this turiri, turiri. So that's the repetition that the music tells you. And there's also the theme of the mirror. So every time we approach the mirror, we hear that music. And when it's like a sad time in the mirror because Devin couldn't find his dad, we hear like the sad version of the theme. And then when they destroy the mirror, we hit like the happy version of that theme, you know. So it's like every character had its music motif, and I just think music is very important, that you can identify it and connect with it. It has to be thematic for me, always something that you can remember, you can sing, and it has to be connected with the elements of the story. So that's what we did.
Je crois qu'on avait encore une question. Quelqu'un avait encore une question, je pense. Petite dernière.
Merci. If you could go through the mirror for about an hour, what would you do?
If I could go through a mirror for about an hour, that's a great question. Actually, I'm very happy that this is like the first Q&A of the movie, so I don't even know what they were going to ask me, so I have nothing prepared. It wasn't like in the incident I already knew people would tell me, why 35 years, and I had the answer, but now I'm like discovering the parallel questions. It's funny. 1 hour, so you mean 1 hour like the mythology of the movie, when 1 hour here means equals more time there? I would probably... You mean like now when I'm at Beef, or you mean if I had the mirror at home? Because if I had the mirror at home, I would actually use it kind of like Noel uses it. I would use it to be able to work more, watch more movies, read more books, see more TV series, write more screenplays, and suddenly wake up the next day and have my screenplay, spend time with the family as well, why not? If it was now at Beef, what I would do, I would probably just maybe go in the bar, drink more, talk to people, watch more movies, and then come back here and be still in the Q&A as if nothing happened. You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you, guys. You've been a great crowd. I'm very happy that you like the movie. Thank you.
It was a pleasure to have the world premiere of Parallel here. You're at home here, so you're always welcome with many other movies.
Thank you very much. And when I enter this bar and I see these lovely people, that's how I feel. I feel like home. So I'm very happy to be back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias.
Merci. Donc il y a une petite séance de dédicace si vous voulez.
Thank you.